All right, guys. Welcome to our weekly reinforcement sessions. Um, I know it's not easy, but if anything has to be done, right, it's going to be done by you guys here. So there's nothing else I can say. It's not easy. If it was easy, we'll have many Cameroonian professors, or we'll have many people doing research. But research is a lonely journey, and very few people are willing to show people how to do research. You're going to definitely say yes to that because you know that uh, if you're not in your final year, you'll never know what research is and things like that. So, but that's it. The goal of this program is not just to teach you, right? It's not just to teach you, it's to teach you a how to. So we are walking step by step on how to do things. And that's it. So I mean, we can give these lectures, but if you need time to figure out your question, if you need time to do that, make sure you take the time to figure out your question because and I mean I can avail myself for 1 hour in a week to talk to any of you who wants to brainstorm their ideas. So I'm going to share a calendar invite where you're going to look at all the slots that are available and you select when you can talk to me with respect to your research ideas. So I'm going to do that for the next 2 weeks. So I'm going to put slots for the next 2 weeks. So it gives everybody an opportunity to share their to brainstorm with me. Um This is very important to fix the question. And you're also going to do that. So this is independent of what you and your mentors are going through, right? So, but this is just me trying to fact check what you're thinking and to make sure that with the mentors, it's easier. You guys are able to fine tune these things. So that's what I'm going to give so that it helps people understand. Now, today's session, we are moving to completing a protocol. So you're going to have an idea of what the entire systematic review protocol is all about. That's what we are going to do. Now, this is recorded, right? So if you're not yet there, don't feel bad. So because most people are still figuring out their questions, we had a session within this lecture today that you are going to work on those sections that will cover, but because most people are not yet there, we are instead going to take one step back. We are going to brainstorm on fine tuning or building a research question, something we did last session. And then we'll close. I'll give people more time to go back and reflect on building your question. Because once you build your question, you can only progress from there. If you have a wrong question, then you're going to have a wrong research. So that's just what we are going to do. That said, I'm going to share my screen and please let me know once you see my screen. Is it good? Mhm. All right, so this is inside the systematic review tool. So just to recap, the first session was introducing you to research as a whole. And so we spoke about the various research designs and how they work and all of that. And then we came back to the systematic review, which is what you're learning how to do. Now we have covered how to develop your research question, how to develop the first part of the proposal, which is the background and the objectives of your research. And now we are moving to more the methods, which is how the research should be carried out. Generally, in research, there are three fundamental things you need to always know, which is first, what is your question? What is a problem that you've seen and you're trying to solve with research? And we even need research to solve that problem. Once you've identified that question, then you want to be able to then move into, okay, what have other people done and what is missing in this topic in this question that I am looking for. So that's how you discuss now why your research is important. And that's what we did in the last sessions. Now, once you've done that, You've already identified what you're doing, why you're doing it. The next question is, how do I go about doing it? Okay. And that's what we are looking at today, the how, the execution. But if you don't have a what, you don't have a why, then the how doesn't really matter, right? That's why I'm saying that since we are still struggling to figure out our questions, what we want to do, I'm going to offer a consulting session with all of you. And then I'm going to also look at make sure that we have just a reflection at the end of this session that we can brainstorm on how we build our research questions. So that said, I'm going to proceed. So this is already with you guys. As you know, there is your curriculum online, and I share this, and you can always go back to these sources. The main guide for systematic review is the Cochrane Handbook, and I'm literally following the Cochrane Handbook and the Prisma guidance to show you guys how to do systematic reviews. So I am not I am not creating something new, right? I learned this, and I'm just making it easier for you guys to be able to learn it. Okay, that's it. And I mean, these are videos. If you're a visual learner, you want to watch the videos first online on YouTube, and then you watch it. And then now you can also read if you like reading. So these are all available for you guys. And like I said, in this program, we always have materials sent to you before, and then we have this workshop, and then you have something to do. So that's how it is. But again, we have our quiz that we took, and well, the quiz was quite easy, so I'm happy to see the results. And again, it's all about methods of systematic review. The reason for quizzes like this is really to just let you understand the theoretical background. You understand? So I always want that you have something, even if you just take the quiz without reading the document that we send. The primer that is always sent is I make sure it's very short and straight to the point. Really, the knowledge that you need. And if you read the primer and you take the quiz, you retain the information. And that's it. It's essential knowledge. You can read all what we have written in 100 of pages, even just about writing a question, but that's not it here. We are trying to find knowledge that is effective. So that's it. Now, you guys scored well, so we're just going to run through the questions very fast. But again, the main question that was mostly missed is a question about where you guys have to type your answers. So here it's the data synthesis plan. So the problem was just really that people didn't type synthesis properly. So again, this goes back to tell you guys, pay attention to details, right? Pay attention to details. It's very important. How you type, how you write, it's most important. And if you're going to be carrying out research and publishing it, you pay attention even to commas that you've written. So the systematic review should be written, protocol should be written in a future tense. So I don't know who wrote future present, but I mean, let's just keep it simple, future tense. For the guy who wrote a capital letter, I mean, it's already in the sentence, so you don't need to put it in capital letter. So again, that's what I'm saying, attention to details. But I mean, this is the correct answer in the middle. The next question we had was the process of systematically combining search terms and that. I mean, it's a search strategy. So whoever said a systematic review, I mean, it's a search strategy within the systematic review. So this clearly shows that this person did not read our guide, the guide that came across. I mean, we're talking about systematic review, so you don't need to tell us more about it. So, mm, all right. So that's it. Mm, next, Zen. Next for us. Next slide. Mm, Something is happening to my screen that I don't appreciate. All right. So the next thing we have is again, this is data synthesis plan. So this is the main question that we're talking about, including whether meta-analysis was attempted and how heterogeneity was held is called a data analysis, a data synthesis plan. That's okay. The next question I'm going to call on somebody to read. Mm, Let me look on my screen. Joseph, are you there? Can you read what's on our screen?
Controlled trials. Which weeks of bias tool is commonly
Yeah.
recommended in contemporary guardians?
Mm. So the correct answer here was the Cochrane, right? Risks of bias too. So I guess everyone should know that. But that's fine. Some people did not select the correct answer. So yep, that's it. Let's move to the next question. What's next on my screen? Um, uh, Kelly, can you read what's on my screen? Hello, Kelly. Can you read what's on your screen? Can't hear you.
What are a protocol on Prospero?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it promotes transparency, it reduces duplication of work, and it also helps us to detect people who do selective reporting. So that's why we register things on Prospero. And last but not the least, it's how should Prisma and Prisma 2022 be used across the life cycle of systematic reviews. So it helps us structure the protocol, and that's the Prisma P. And then the Prisma itself is to report everything back once you've completed your research. So that was a very easy quiz, I would say, for you guys to have figured out, but it's okay. So, like I said, the course generally we have a pre-work before the meeting, then we have these live sessions, and then you have tags. So that's what we do every day. So yeah. And today we have, so far we've looked at the research question, we've looked at the beginning of the protocol. And so today we are going to tell you what all of this looks like. So this is like the method part of the protocol. So that's just what we are doing today. And then we are going to proceed. Now, so at the end of this lecture, you should be able to explain why pre-planning your methods enhances rigor and transparency, determine the benefits of Prospero, and then you should be able to draft these sections in your protocol. That was what was planned for you, but I get from the feeling that most people are not yet there. So we are going to um do something else and close early so that you guys use the remaining minutes that you've blocked out to really work on this. So the general idea of these sessions is that during each session, you are pushed to do something on that work, to start doing it, and then you can continue creating time for it. So like last session, we had people who work on their questions, and that was just, I guess, Lydia and was it Patrick, if I'm not mistaken? But that was it. So we always want to push you to do something which with respect to your work. So that said, I'm going to proceed to the next slide. So today, this is what we are having now, the lecture, and then I'll walk you through what the protocol looks like. I'll also show you what Prospero looks like, and then you have your group work, and then yeah, we end the session. So that's what today looks like. Um, so this is very straightforward, right? A systematic review, it's like your contract when you're doing your methods. And so it's what you write, everything that you're going to do. For me, what's most important is actually this defining the question and the scope of your systematic review. This is what's most important for me, because if this fails and then every other thing else doesn't make sense. But it also helps us to specify exactly how we would search, select, extract, and praise studies, and then in the end, how we would synthesize those studies. So it tells us everything. And so far, I've been sharing you guys the Prisma guidance because I always wanted you guys to read the Prisma guidance many times before the end of this course so that it'll be second knowledge what you're doing. But importantly, once you've written down your protocol, right, it helps you to stay true to that protocol, to what you wrote. So it prevents what we call method shift. So you don't move because you don't change your method because you've seen that, oh, this will not work, for instance, because you've seen what other people are doing. So that's just what I really want us to understand. That's what the systematic review protocol is. There's nothing, yeah. Um, but why does the protocol matter? Um, Lydia, can you read what's on the slide?
Okay. Why protocols matter? Protocols help you prevent bias, for example, outcome switching, post-hoc decisions, improve reproducibility. Another team could follow your steps, improve efficiency, fewer we forgot to, problems later, provide a
Mhm.
roadmap and meet expectations of top SR organizations.
Yeah, SRS stands for systematic review, right? So, I mean, for every research, there's always a protocol. So, the reason for the protocol, it's very clear. You don't want to be biased when you're looking at results. You want other people to do what you've done. And then you always want to be more efficient. So once you've written something, you can go back to it and come back. And it's also like a roadmap that you're going to meet whatever you're doing. So that's why we do protocols. And so far, the protocol sections should include background rationale and eligibility criteria. This is what we already brainstormed, and this was your assignment so far. And today, we are going to be focusing on the information sources, which is the databases, the study selection, how you screen them, data extraction, and also how you do your bias assessment and how you do the synthesis. So basically, this is where we are. Okay. So that's what we plan on doing today. So all what I want you guys to do is take this knowledge and apply it to what you'll be doing in the next couple of weeks. That's most important. So I'm going to run through these slides a little bit fast, and then I'm going to show you guys a full proposal so that you see each of these sections on that proposal. And then I'm also going to show you how the proposal reflects the Prisma guidelines. At the end of it, then you guys have what you need to write. But you cannot write if you don't have a research question and you don't have a background and all of these things. So that's why we are now going to I'm just going to open the forum for you guys to ask me questions about your research questions indirectly, and then we're going to discuss it, and then we're going to end. But the workshop that was planned where I need people to sit down and write these sections, you guys are going to create time to do it because it was supposed to be part of the 30 minutes of this class. So is that clear? Have you understood the path for what we are going forward now?
Yes, doctor.
Are we all okay with it? Kelly, Patrick, Frank, Joseph, Lydia. Are we all okay with it?
Yeah, okay, though. Okay.
Mm.
Yes, Doctor. Okay.
All right. Nice. Let's make progress then. So
Doctor,
exactly. Yeah, Joseph, go for it. Yeah. Hey, I guess you said we are okay. Nice. All right. So in this section, we are definitely going to be discussing what you would do, right? So this is what it covers, all of these sections. You cannot talk of conclusions now because we only talk of conclusions when we've done it, but this is what we are going to discuss in this session today. That said, I want us to, first of all, talk about information sources. So your protocol has to list the core databases that you are going to use in your systematic review. So databases are spaces where all scientific papers, once they are published, they stay in. And the common ones is PubMed, Medline, Cochrane Library. So when you start your search, we are going to be advised to do this. I think next week our session is really on searching, and I'm going to teach you guys how to search on these databases. Okay. So, but this is for your information. Now, what you need to take home is that databases, they are generic databases, right? Like you have a supermarket that has everything, but there are specific databases. So you also have specific databases like this one is for nursing. You have regional. This one is for Africa. Okay, so you can find most African studies there. And then you have gray literature as well. Gray literature are things like your thesis that you never published that stays in your university library, your protocol that you register and you never complete it, like the ones that we are going to see that are registered in Prospero, and all of that. So that's what this is all about. Okay. So again, you have information sources. These sources are places where scientific studies are stored online. Your research question and your search strategy is to enable you capture these resources that you're going to analyze. Good. The search strategy is actually your engine to pick up the things that you need. So just like a typical researcher, you have your microscope and you're looking through to find the papers that are important for you. And so if we go back to lecture 2, all of us converted our question into key PICO words or key PICO technologies like a population, an intervention, a comparative, and an outcome. Now, based on those boxes, you're going to build keywords. For instance, if you want to work with people with HIV, you're going to ask yourself, how do people report HIV in scientific papers? And so you find synonyms of all of those. And then the second question is, that's what we call keywords. The second one is basically the merge terms. Now, in those databases that we just saw in the previous slides, you have what we call medical subject heading. That's why it means merge terms. So, or M trees on some databases. So what this means is that instead of saying hypertension, for instance, they would have coded hypertension HTN in most of those databases. And so you're going to find HTN in the databases to pick all articles talking about hypertension. Instead of talking about cancer, you might see CA, for instance. So some of these things are medical subject headings, and that's how you search in the databases. Now, when you pick out these key concepts, the next thing you have to do is to combine them. This we're going to have in next session, but I'm just giving you an understanding and overview. You combine them with what we call Boolean logic, right? So, and also I want to search for a paper with HIV and young people. So HIV and youth, or a paper that includes all of them. So that's what we're going to be looking at next section. So you're going to see what the Boolean logic looks like and truncation and all of that. So that's what we're going to be doing next session. Now, again, once you've done this, you're going to now be able to show to people that you've done it. So you're going to go to one of the databases that we saw, and then you're going to run that Boolean logic in it. And so that's why we say, in the end, you have to share a samples string from at least one database in your proposal. Okay. And then you will have documents how you're going to search those various things and how you're going to count them and all of that. So it's very important that on each day that you do a search, you save it and you put a name to a date to it. So that's how we document things. In next session, I'm going to teach you guys how to document things, because I think you guys are going to be moving to a stage where you need to be very clear on documenting your writing. If you document something, you should have your name, the topic, or the subject of the paper of the document, and then the dates. Each day you work on that document, do the same thing, just change the date, so that if you need to find something that you worked on the 23rd of January or on the 24th of January, you should be able to go back and see 24th of January, this is the state of my proposal. And then you look at it and then you change it. And then you go back to, let's say, February, where you are when you're writing on your proposal. Is everything clear about information sources and search strategy? All right, I see a thumbs up. Nice. So once you've done your search strategy, okay, once you've done your search strategy, the next thing you want to do is now go about selecting the studies. So the search strategy will capture a bulk of papers, okay, and now those papers have to go through the screening process until they get to the papers that you really want to review. So again, when you receive the bulk of papers, what you're going to do is you're going to look at just their titles and the abstract. And once you look at the titles and abstracts, you're going to screen them and then proceed to the full text. Now, when you do that, you're going to definitely tell us how you are going to reduce duplicates. Okay, there are various options to do that. We are going to see how to use all of these tools. All of these tools, I'm going to show you guys how to do it. And I'm also going to give you guys tutorial links to watch them on your free time. Now, once you've shown how you remove duplicate, you also need to tell us how you're going to review. Ideally, you're going to have 2 independent reviewers. That's why you're paired with a mentor, because you guys are going to work on it together. Okay. And if you guys don't agree, then you guys are going to consult a third person. So that's why we say how agreements are managed. So if you guys don't agree on a topic, you're going to consult a third person, and then we're going to discuss and then we'll agree on it. But it all comes from you search, it gives you a huge number of articles, like 10,000, and then you're going to screen and reduce them to maybe the 10, the 12, the 20 that you need for your review. And that's it. And this process is done by 2 people. And we always discuss when we have disagreements. So that's how you go about doing the study selection and how you manage the data. Good. The next thing I'm going to talk about is extraction. So I'm going to, well, again, you're going to have a session on this, the details. And the thing about extraction is that you need to specify the key terms you extract, right? So in your research question, in your PICO already, that's why I'm going back to that. That's why we are not making progress with what you have to do today. But you need to state the study setting, the participants, the interventions, and the outcome, and the effect estimates. The effect estimates here is basically, are you assessing mortality? Are you assessing odds ratio? Are you assessing risks? Are you assessing whatever? So these things are going to appear on an Excel sheet. And then as you are reading the papers, right, you're going to be saying, okay, this paper spoke about this group of participants. So you put the study setting, the study design, and what they were assessing. That's how you report it. And so you have an Excel sheet that has every detail of all the studies. Each row is a study and the column is all of these things. And then again, the things that you want to synthesize in your systematic review. So again, generally, it's always done by 2 people. All right. It's always done by 2 people. So one person does everything and then another person double checks. So you do something and then your mentor is going to double check. That's why the mentor pairing is very important. So build a good relationship with your mentor. And if your mentor is not helping you much, please let us know ahead of time and we can see how to mitigate that. But generally what happens is that it's always you guys who are not more hardworking than your mentors. So, but in case it's the other way around, please let us know ahead of time. Now, once you've designed what you're going to extract from all of the papers, okay, because this is based on your question and your PICO, like what you want to look for, you're going to test. You're going to take two papers that you've captured and see if you can actually test it on that Excel sheet that you've developed. And then again, you're going to discuss how you're going to handle missing data. So if you're looking for something and you cannot see it, you either contact the authors or you just say that you assume this or you just say you excluded it completely. Generally, we exclude it because we don't want to make assumptions. And contacting an author is a whole hassle. So you just exclude it. Okay. So that's it about this slide. Do we have any worry about how to extract and how to go about extracting and how to go about documenting our extraction? Any worries? So this is how you go about extracting the screening phase, and then this is how you go about um, documenting your extraction. At the end of your extraction, we'll have an Excel sheet that has all of these details. Are we together?
Yes, doctor, we are together.
All right. So if there's anything that is unclear, please feel free to unmute and just ask, okay?
Thank you, doctor, for your presentation. Please, I wanted to know concerning grade literature, how do we access it to?
All right. So gray literature, there's no standard way to access gray literature, but what's most important for you to note, right, is that gray literature, you search the internet, and gray literature is what is not published on the databases. So the best way, again, when we get to search strategy, which is next week, I guess, if I'm not mistaken, I'm going to show you databases that you can look to search for gray literature. So there exist some databases for gray literature, but they are not exhaustive. So you're going to search the web pages of WHO. You're going to search the web pages of MinSante, Ministry of Health Cameroon, of CDC, and the rest. So those are great pages of NGOs working on your topic, and then you're going to document that. And again, on your extraction sheet that we saw in the previous slide, you are going to separate it. Okay, a section for gray literature. You're going to say, you search instead of having a title of an author, you're going to have a title of a paper that you read from the WHO website, and you're going to now state the PICO elements that you extracted from that web page. Is that clear?
Yes, doctor. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay. Any other question on this point?
Doctor, please, I wish to ask. So it means that before before you proceed with your data extraction, you have to know what you have to extract so that your search strategy will include papers from which you can find the data you need.
That's 120% correct. Yes, that's why it's very important to fix your question and your PICO and those details. That's the most important thing. If you don't do that, if you miss that now, every other thing you do there will be garbage, and it's a lot of time.
Okay,
Oh,
thank you,
yes.
doctor.
So that's why I am going to push you guys to really reflect on your question and your PICO. It's very important. All right. Any other question? Now, what's on your screen is the risks of bias section. So when you gather all of these papers, people, not everybody does research in a good way. So you have to assess to what level of confidence you trust the outcome from those papers. And that's where risks of bias comes in. Okay. So you just need to state that I am doing this. I am going to review these studies and I'm going to review their risks of bias. So there are many tools. For randomized control trial is Cochrane. For non-randomized trials is Robbins. You also have the JBI checklist, which is study design specific. So generally, when we get to search strategies and risks of bias, I'm just going to send you guys links that have all of these things, and you're going to see which one works for your study. You're not going to do all of them. So for those who are doing studies that include both randomized control and non-randomized control and every type of study, there's also an MMT screening tool that you can do that at once. So if you have only systematic review, only randomized control trial, this is the best tool. So we are going to give you guys links to all of that. And it's very easy. You just need to check, did they talk about this in the paper or not? And you check and check and check, and then you end. So that's it. Nothing much. It's not very difficult. You just need to know what tool to use and then check it. Now, this is where it's going to be difficult. And this is where skills come in, writing skills, knowledge skills, and a lot of things come in. This is very important. So what I want to do, once you have fixed your PICO question, you're going to have an idea of the synthesis you're going to do. Once you fix your question. So narrative synthesis means your studies are really, really heterogeneous. So you cannot find a common thread within the study. So you are just going to describe with themes what you found. Now, a meta-analysis means that all of them have the same methods, the same thing, and they're assessing similar things. So you can put all of them and then do some stats. If your meta-analysis is going to be done, and then we're going to talk about effects estimates, so relative risks, odds ratios, and all of that, we're going to talk about your models and all of it. So we're going to have a session on meta-analysis only. Okay, we're going to have a session on that we're going to talk about this, but depending on your questions, so that's why in the end, that's why I'm also looking at the consultation section, because I need to understand your questions. It also helps us, it helps me guide and give you guys the resources that you need. So that's it. That's basically how you're going to do. So we're going to have two narrative synthesis, which I think is what most of us are going to do, because if we're looking at data mostly from Africa or Cameroon, we have very few clinical trials in Cameroon or in Africa as a whole. So we'll definitely not have a lot of things to do a meta-analysis. But if we find them, fine and good. If you have a unique topic that looks at data in the world as a whole, then we definitely need to do a meta-analysis. All right, guys. So that's it. So that's data synthesis. This is where we bring everything together. From what you found from that Excel sheet, you are going to write stories on it. So that's it. And yeah, what's most important is that you check for consistency throughout your question. That's why it's good to have a very solid question throughout the screening, throughout how you're extracting, throughout how you're developing and how you're assessing your bias, and then how you're doing your synthesis. It's very important to have a very clear consistency across all of that. So I'm going to ask you guys a simple question. If you were extracting data from your systematic review, right? If your outcome is HbA1c, will you include it in your extraction fields or not? We all know what HbA1c is, right?
Yes, doctor.
No, I don't.
Good.
I don't understand. What is the question?
The question is that you are screening for scientific papers, and in your PICO, HbA1c is the outcome. HbA1c level. Would you include that in your extraction fields when you have your Excel sheet that you're extracting things from papers? Or not? Everybody's quiet. So I am studying the effectiveness of insulin in type 1 diabetics in Cameroon. It's a systematic review, and I want to see the effectiveness of insulin, let's say Lantus, which is very common in type 1 diabetics. So the population there is type 1 diabetics in Cameroon. The intervention is insulin lantus. The comparative is whatever thing they are taking aside from insulin. And the outcome is their HbA1c levels. So when I'm looking for papers that have done a similar study. Would I include HbA1c in my extraction sheet or not? It's a simple answer now. Guys, don't be afraid.
Yes,
Doctor.
doctor. I think
Yes, doctor.
Include it.
Yeah. So it's very, yeah. So the reason why you have to include it is that that is what you're going to use to do your meta-analysis, to do the effect size and the measure, because it's a number. So you can measure all what those people said in all of those studies, right? And then you can be able to do it. Now, second question. In your systematic review, you are including both randomized control trials and cohort studies. Okay. Would you want to do a risk of bias for both, or you want to do it combined? I mean, I just said that a short time ago.
Doctor, I don't think you have the tools for both.
All right. I mean, you can do it separately, but also there are tools that you can try that can attempt to do both, but it doesn't exist that way. Okay, but very good answer, bro. So that's it. So this is just for us to be sure, right, that everything we do is documented, it's consistent throughout from start to finish. That's how we say a research is high quality. Everything has to be consistent, even in the way, if you decide to write HbA1c like this in your first paragraph, please write HbA1c like that throughout your paper. Don't change it. It's that specific. Consistency is very important. All right, so we're going to go to the next slide. Now, in writing, right, you need to always write the protocol in future tense. Whoever wrote future present tense in the quiz, please avoid me. Future present tense. That was an interesting one. So based in the future tense. And so, for instance, you definitely say 2 reviewers will independently screen. We would use the ROP tool. All right. Now, it's very important to avoid vague text when you're writing your protocol. Try to be as specific as possible. We would assess quality appropriately. This tells us nothing. See, when I start reading your proposals, I'm going to be very hard on you guys because I'm taking my time to tell you, show you how things are done. I don't want to see things like this. But you can write, we would assess risks of bias using the ROP tool, independently by 2 reviewers. Period. I mean, this is very clear. But if you tell us that you assess quality appropriately, what does that mean? Are you guys understanding where I'm coming from? So in research, you have to be very clear. Don't give somebody any option, any reason to assume anything. Tell them what you mean and mean what you say. Are we together?
Yes,
I mean,
doctor.
you guys, I'm just going to ask a simple question. When you guys read my emails or my messages, are things unclear for you? Do I try to make it really say do 1, 2, 3, 4, or do this? If you need this, check here. Is it clear? Because it's part of my style of writing. I just decided to apply my research habits in most of the things I do. Do the emails come really clear for you guys?
yes, doctor, they do. They're very clear.
Patrick, you wanted to say something? All right. So most of the things that people have when they're doing systematic reviews is that their question is very broad. So you cannot manage it. So you get so many topics. That's why, again, we are back on the point that we need to be clear on your questions even before you make progress. Okay, it's very important. Don't rush over making the questions. So that's it. Now, missing a key method step is very important. It's a common thing. So you fail to remove duplicates, you don't apply the screening rules, and you don't have a good data management plan. Now, all of this will be avoided if you have a protocol, and it's very clear there. Okay. Now, kitchen sink outcomes. You have too many outcomes. So your extraction sheet has like 10 columns. Doesn't make sense, right? We need to keep it very short. Okay. So that's it. No plan for disagreements or a second review. So I mean, we've already avoided this, so this is okay. And then if you're not aligned to any risks of bias tool to your study design, it's also going to be a pitfall, because if you do your risks of bias, it increases the chances of having your review published. Okay. So that's it. Now we are done with the most important part of the lecture. PROSPERO is just, yes, Afai, go for it. You have a question?
Please, doctor, I wanted to know concerning searching the database and extracting data. Let's say, for instance, you had a question that goes as those, you want to find out the effectiveness of nicardipine in reducing blood pressure. So
Mm.
when you are searching for existing data from which you can extract what you need, should the all the research that you are looking for include exactly what you want to do? As in, should all those papers study the effectiveness of nicardipine in reducing blood pressure?
So if you are very specific with nicardipine, then you go for nicardipine. But the question would be, why are you going right down to nicardipine? Why don't you talk about calcium channel blockers only? Okay. Or why don't you just talk about blood pressure control?
Yes,
You understand? So in the last session, we
yes,
spoke
doctor.
about layers of specificity. So the more specific you go, it depends. Is based on what has already been done by others. So if you see a systematic review on use of calcium channel blocker, there's no need for you doing a systematic review on calcium channel blockers again. That's why we're going to talk about PROSPERO, because before you dive on your topic, all of you guys are going to search on PROSPERO to see if your topic has been done by somebody. Now, when you search and you see that somebody has done calcium channel blocker, okay, look at, okay, what are the calcium channel blockers that have been done? Okay, if you see that, okay, all of them have been done except nicardipine, then you're going to focus that, okay, you want to assess that. But a question like that, we'll call it, is a niche question. So that's one for a cardiologist that has done everything about calcium channel blocker and he's just looking for just nicardipine and he wants to use it for a particular project. So you see, so last week we spoke about starting from broad to narrow. That's it, right? You start from broad to narrow. If you look at the slides, you see that funnel shape that we spoke about. It has to be like that. So that's it. Have I answered your question? Afai, I guess I've answered your question. So this is where all proposals are registered. It's
Thank you,
called
doctor.
PROSPERO. Yeah, you're welcome. It's called PROSPERO, and so it's the International Prospective Register for Systematic Review Protocols. So we register protocols because we want to be transparent, we want to reduce bias, and we want to help people duplicate work. Okay, so that's just it. So all of you guys are going to look on PROSPERO for your fixed topics. Once you have searched for your question and you are fixed on it, we're going to search on PROSPERO. I'm going to show you guys what the platform looks like shortly. And generally, you need to register before you start anything. So you don't register when you have started screening. No, you register before you start, because if you start already, then you go and register, and people have already done your work. Your systematic review does not make sense, no. So that's it. So for PROSPERO, right, once you've developed your protocol, you just need to build subsections of the protocol and then you feed it into PROSPERO. So it's just a platform where you register, but you don't register everything. So these are the key things that you need to register. Yeah, that will look at it, but that's it. And that's the end of class. That's the end of the lecture. What we had to do now was that I was going to give you guys 30 minutes to work on those sections on your work, and then we come back. But we're not going to do that now. I'm going to show you guys a full systematic review proposal on a topic, something that I am working on. And then I'm also going to show you guys a submission on Prospero and how to search Prospero for topics that have been done already. And then the last thing I'm going to show you guys is how to search on PubMed. I want all of you guys to search on PubMed. Just search on PubMed for your topic blindly. Next week, we're going to have a detailed search strategy workshop, and then we're going to go further. Are we okay? So generally, I would expect you guys to keep working on your protocol, as an assignment, keep working on your protocol, irrespective of the section that you are. But normally, we're expecting part 1 and 2, but if the question is not clear, you don't need to proceed. Fix your question first. The rest will come with speed once you are clear on where you're going to. So that's it. So I'm going to stop sharing this, and I'm going to show you guys my protocol for a systematic review I'm currently doing. And then I'm going to show you now Prospero as well. Section 3. I can't hear you, please. Go for it again.
Doctor, it's a research protocol the same as a research proposal. Because I think
Yeah, it's
I've
the same
tried to
thing.
use them interchangeable. Okay.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just English. It's just English. Don't think hard about it, sir. You get that right? Yeah. All right. So this is a research protocol or a research proposal that I'm on a systematic review I'm working on. As you guys know, I like technology and healthcare, so I'm doing my PhD in digital health and AI in healthcare in Africa. So my systematic review for my PhD is entitled Mapping the Use of Artificial Intelligence in the Context of Electronic Health Records in Sub-Saharan Africa, a systematic review protocol. So that's the title. So this is built from a question, right? And you see the sections. So first I have a summary which summarizes what the systematic review is all about. Okay. And then the next is we have objectives, which is clearly what I'm going to do. And I actually number them so that it's clear for whoever is reading. We aim to systematically map AI applications in the context of electronic health records and other routine data collected. First, the types of AI activities supported, the types of EHR we use in 1 and 2, the reported outcomes, and the implementation challenges. So if you read my objectives already, you are already seeing my extraction sheets, because this is what I'm going to, what are the type of AI supported activities? What is the data? And then what are the outcomes? So I'm going to scroll down again. Zoom, allow me to scroll. Then we come to methods, and then the methods is all very detailed. Okay, and then this will be registered in Prospero. So now we have the details. This is what I asked you guys to write last week, the background and the rationale. And so you see that it's 3 to 4 paragraphs. And I mean, I want you guys to write. Once I've read all of you guys, I'm going to also teach you guys how to write scientific writing, but I want to teach it when we are done with this protocol, because it's going to be more useful for you to write the paper. Yeah. But those things are going to come. So you see again, it introduces, and then we have the objectives. Again, this is the sections I'm highlighting are things that I asked you guys to do already. So that's why I was highlighting it, so that it's very clear from when I'm talking. So you see, the primary objectives is for us to map the landscape of AI applications in the context of electronic health records and other routine clinical data in Sub-Saharan Africa. Specifically, we aim to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So for me, these are already sections in my extraction sheet. And then you see now the methods, right? The methods, again, I have some definitions of my design. I talk about my eligibility criteria. This is what we worked on last week, Lydia, if you remember. And here you see that we would apply the PICO framework And I'm going to just show you guys. So the population would include studies of sub-Saharan health facilities, okay, and community activities. So for me, my population is not people living with cardiovascular disease or people, but it's more about the system. It's at the system level. And then I specified there again that any healthcare context, so I don't care whether you are in the bush or you are doing a public health program, I'm going to look for you. That's it. And then we are going to include multi-country studies if they include at least one sub-Saharan African country. Because you find some people do research in Asia and generalize it to Africa, which is at two different settings. And then we come to my intervention, right? It's very important. The intervention is AI applications on electronic health records or on other data, be it mobile data tools, be it OCR, be it natural language processing, whatever technology that has been integrated with patient data, that's what I'm looking for. Now, the comparator is every other thing else that people are doing. And then the outcomes I have first is implementation. What has AI done? The next, how has it improved the clinical outcomes? So you have the implementation outcomes is what did it change? What are the clinical outcomes that it did, diagnostic accuracy, all of that. And I give examples. Operational outcome, did it speed up the work of doctors or not? And the last one is the health system outcome. How do the hospitals appreciate that intervention or things like that? So you see that the outcomes are all very clear in the proposal. And then I talk about the types of studies that I'm going to include. Okay, so I'm not looking at only randomized control trials. So I'm going to look at everything, randomized control trial, case control, everything, mixed methods, and that's it. And you can proceed and see my inclusion criteria and then exclusion criteria. And then you have information sources. These are the databases that I'm going to search. These are the academic databases. And to answer your question, these are the gray literature databases that I am going to be searching. And all of that is stated in my proposal. And then we proceed. And so I did the test on this day. When you guys were enjoying your Christmas, I was working. And now search strategy, again, you see the details. This is a Boolean search. So I'm looking at electronic health records. So I'm combining the core terms, which is, first of all, health records, electronic health records, abbreviations, synonyms. And then I combine both of them now with artificial intelligence, and then we also have a final one, which is now sub-Saharan Africa and up to 2025 in English and in French, because for some reason I'm a Cameroonian, and that's it. For gray literature, I state it. And then now in my methods, I am also going to be using an AI assisted approach, so which is something new, which I think nobody has done. And so I'm writing this out there so that if I succeed to do this, then people would say, oh, we have this systematic review that used an AI automated approach ethically to screen papers, and I've demonstrated the methodology in the protocol. So again, that's it. So this is in my method, it's in my search strategy, but it's something new. Yeah, and then how you are going to do my screening is going to be done by two reviewers. I put their abbreviations there because they're going to be on the data collection process, stating how the data items will be. So this is what will appear on my extraction sheet. We'll extract data using that, and it include this, every other thing. So you see, I'm going to put this in the course curriculum so that you guys can always come back and look at what a full proposal looks like. And that's it. And then you have appendices, which has my inclusion criteria, my PICO, and then you have a search strategy. And this is what I did on PubMed. I have that clear there. I have this one again on the other base and the other databases and the other databases and the other databases. And then you have my references. So guys, this is a systematic review protocol. Any questions? Do we now see all what we spoke about in the lecture? Any question? I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to share now Prospero. I'm going to share now. Prospero. Mhm. All right. I see people raising their hands, so I guess it's easy peasy for everyone. Mm, Good. All right, guys. So now this is Prospero, right? This is the website. So I'm going to so if you just type on the internet Prospero, you see everything. So yeah, I came because I'm interested in AI and digital health. So yeah, I came and I typed. I'm just going to do this again so that you guys see what I came. So when you click on the website, when you click on Prospero, this is where you're going to learn. Register a review now. So this is where all of you go, you create an account and do all of that. When we get to the stage of registration, I'll show you guys, but we need to be sure that your protocols are ready. And then the next is you can watch their video of what is the purpose of prospective registration. Yeah. But then I came to search. I did not log in, and then I typed. That's what I typed: AI and digital health and sub-Saharan Africa, and then I searched. So it gave me these results, right? And then I selected one that is of interest to me. And here is it. Artificial intelligence application in predicting. Can you guys see? Who have I not heard talk for a long time? Frank. Yes, Frank. Frank, read the title of this paper.
Okay, doctor. Artificial intelligence applications for predicting antiretroviral therapy outcomes in people living with HIV. A systematic review of determinants and predictive models.
Good. So you see that this is very new, right? And now these are the sections of Prospero, right? So definitely you're going to put your title and then you're going to put in the domain that your study falls under. And then you're going to give the rationale of your review, which is what I asked you guys to do a couple of weeks back. And then your objectives, and then the keywords, and then the country that you guys are working across. So these guys are working across many countries, you see. That's where the authors come from. Now, if we still look at the eligibility criteria, Kelly, can you read the PICO for this study? Hello, Kelly. Hello. Yeah, go for it.
Population included people live with HIV and they have taken antiretroviral therapy for more than 2 visits. Excluded. We have excluded people who live with HIV and less than 2 antiretroviral therapy visits.
Intervention or exposure, go for it.
Included, you have machine learning, artificial intelligence. We have included all the studies that used different artificial intelligence. That's machine learning, deep learning, data mining approaches. Excluded. We have excluded studies didn't use artificial intelligence approaches. For the comparators or controls, this review does not have any comparators.
Study designs.
Only non-randomized study types will be included.
That's it. You don't need to read the details, that's fine. And then come on, talk about the context.
For the context, this systematic review focuses on the application of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning techniques to predict, model, or identify determinants of antiretroviral therapy outcomes amongst people living with HIV, including both adult and pediatric populations. The review includes studies reporting ART-related outcomes such as virologic suppression, virologic failure, immunologic response, medication adherence, regimen switch, and treatment retention. The review aims to synthesize evidence from peer-reviewed journal articles and full conference papers published in English between 2000 and 2025, providing methodological insights into the use of AI, ML, DL in HIV treatment outcome prediction and determinant identification.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for reading. So you see, and these are all the sections of the strat of the platform that you fill, and so you complete it. So that's Prospero. And yeah, so we looked at Prospero. I think this is Prisma as well. This is a reporting guideline that I have shown you guys severally, and it's always there. This is how you write your proposal. This is how you write your paper. If you can just read. Now there's a Prisma P which talks about the proposal on its own. But I mean, for me, I always just start using the Prisma 2020 because it's already the paper and all of us want to publish this. So if you search for the Prisma P, you can use it to write your proposal. But again, the steps and everything is the same thing. And so you see all of those details here, what you have to write, what you have to report, search strategy, selection process, data collection, data outcomes, all of that. So all of this has to be exemplified. So this is what I followed to come out with the proposal that I just showed you guys. So that's it. Now, any question? So we are back to class, and so we are going to close. So what I'm going to do between now and Monday is I'm going to generate calendar invites with you guys, and all the slots, please book them. I'll give everybody an opportunity of 2 slots, not more than 2. And then let's discuss about your challenges and let's fine-tune your question. What's most important about the systematic review question is being sure that you're not duplicating work. So search on the databases, search on the internet, particularly PubMed, that your work has not been done before. And it's very important that you do that so that we don't duplicate what other people have done. That's what's most important in this thing that we are doing. You don't want to repeat work. So search on PubMed. Let's know that what you're doing, nobody has done it. And what is new is what you're going to bring to the table. That's what's most important. So this is PubMed when you just type it on Google. And generally, you can just start here, right? And most of the times, I just say, for instance, mm, and it's a Boolean, and COVID-19. That was very common because that was at the time. So you see, it's going to give me a good number of articles on the topic. And I look at the headings and see if they are very effective for me to use, things like that. So you see, this is a scoping review on potential impact and recommendations, digital health and COVID-19. And you can always adjust it. So digital health and COVID-19 and Africa. So I'm not writing a total title, but you see, this is a one that is really close. Digital health system strengthening in Africa for rapid response of COVID-19. Quite timely. And that's it. And you can always adjust the range of the articles you want to see. So somebody spoke about nicazepine. Let me use nicazepine and hypertension and Africa. So this is a basic search. There's a more complicated search I can do, but I'm just doing this to give you guys a flair of what you see. So you see that the title is more of calcium channel antagonist, right? You see short-term treatment with severe hypertension, nicazepine, comparison of nicazepine and labetalol So the question is, if you are searching for nicazepine only, are you going to have enough papers to do a systematic review, or you just want to search for calcium channel blocker? And we see nicazepine is most of the papers that we are seeing here is more in pregnancy. If I remove Africa from it and I search broadly, so we have more results. Nicazepine versus albuterol for acute stroke management, a systematic review and meta-analysis. So somebody has already done what you were doing, but it's focused for stroke. So you see again that this is very niche. I'm going to click on it because it sounds interesting. And we look at it now and we see what they did. So they search Medline via PubMed, Scopus, and that and Google databases. And what did they find? Following actual condition, meta-analysis included 5 retrospective cohorts and one, so just 5 studies. Nicazepine effect on time of GOCO people, and. So, I mean, they found something more and they recommended more prospective comparative trials and needed to investigate the efficacy of BP management as well as clinical outcomes in acute stroke for patient reducing labetalol and nicazepine infusions. So, this is a systematic review and meta-analysis. So nicazepine, you see that somebody has done something, but I mean, this is a global perspective and they found only 5 studies, only 5 meta-analysis. So 5 is good. It's also much data to do, but I mean, it's not much. So that's it. Yeah. And you can keep going further and further. I mean, nicazepine is the only topic in my head now. Who has a topic that they want us to just try the search? And that will be the last thing that we do. But this is to give you guys a flair of how to play with these databases. Hello. Darren, Frank, Patrick, Lydia, Kelly. Any idea? Any thoughts?
Yes, doctor. On my own topic, the impact of PHQ-9 screening tool and diagnosis of depression in sub-Saharan Africa.
PHQ-9 and what depression, eh?
Yes, doctor. Diagnosis of depression. Yes, and
Yeah, it's
depression and
okay.
sub-Saharan Africa.
Somebody has already done a systematic review. Screening of depression in primary care with PHQ-9, a systematic review. Somebody has done it already. You want to do it for Africa.
Oh, wow.
This is your topic now. This is what you're thinking. Somebody has done it. Top. When was it published?
Yes.
6 years ago. It was published in 2020. So, questionnaires, most questionnaires have been validated and checked. So my advice would be to move to another tool. I mean, move to technology. That's why I gave you guys a technology primer. I shared something that has technology topics and topics that are interesting, but apparently nobody has looked at it. So this is your systematic review. Somebody has already done it. So think of something else. That's why I'm saying this way. You see, I did not write your full topic. It's just the keywords and depression. So let's put an Africa there and see. But if you're doing it for Africa, it does not really make sense. It's not new knowledge. There's nothing new that will be different from what that person already reported. So somebody did it for postpartum women but this one is cognitive assessment. PHQ-9 for depression among pregnant women. This is a study. So these are the kind of things that you're going to include if you do a systematic review only for Africa. But the question is, what next? Does it add any new thing? No.
Yeah.
So that's why we need those consultation sections, because I'm going to have these sections with your topics, your questions, and we're going to make sure that you're steering you're both in the right direction. All right. Any other person want to share? Otherwise, I'm going to move. Let's close. And I'm going to share your curriculum because I know guys don't look at it. When I talk about it, it sounds like it's magic. But I mean, I know I'm not organized, but I try to be as much as I can so that what I'm doing, other people can do it as well. So this is your curriculum. Like I said, this is your ground truth. I put everything here. It's your timetable and links to access. So if we scroll down, you always have these instructions that are there. You have the link to this Zoom meeting. It's already there. So this is where we are. Ideally, this is what I was expecting you guys to be submitting today, but I guess nobody's ready. So my question is that you guys are going to sit and brainstorm and give me a date. You guys are going to vote yourself and give me a date that I should expect this to be done. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but you guys are going to discuss, and I need that feedback by the end of tomorrow. Then we are going to proceed. So here you have everything. The Prisma checklist is here. You can always read it. It's what I just showed you guys. These are links to videos that you can watch, right? These are links to videos that you can watch. And again, this is where we are this session. I shared the lecture plan. I shared the primer. And all you need to do is just click on the link and then I'll request. Some people come and request for access at midnight. Guys, I know that I don't sleep much, but I mean, at midnight, even if I'm up studying, I'm doing my own work. Also have mercy on me. So I will check on those things during the day and always do. And when you request, just keep your phone handy because once I approve it, you receive a notification that you've been granted access. So something like that. So this is all what I shared before the lecture for today. And then I'm going to populate this. So when I receive your feedback, I'm going to update this assignment with what is expected from you guys. But then we'll have the slides and every other thing added here. So I'm going to upload the protocol here, but I've not yet done that. And then I'm also going to put the checklist, which still comes from Prospero, and then the Prospero link here, which I just showed you guys. And then the slides, you'll see them shortly here. And then next week, we're looking at literature search and how to manage references. So everybody should have their laptop because I'm just going to be walking you guys from my laptop. I'm going to have very few slides. I don't want to make it a slide deck. Initially, I had a slide deck for it, but I want to make it more practical. So we're going to be practicing how to build a search, just like what we just did for your case, Lydia, and the Nikazipin. I think it's Afaye, no? It's Afaye one Nikazipin or it's Patrick? I've forgotten. But yeah, that's what we're going to do next. So we're really going to search. And all of these things are already in the Cochrane handbook that I shared with you guys. This is the link to the Cochrane handbook. You can access it here. But that's it. And yeah, and I'm going to show you all the databases that you need. Your task after that will be to run those databases search and see how it's working for you. So since most of your topics will not be ready, I'll come with a topic, 2 or 3. If you have a topic that you think you want us to search on, please let me know before time. And yeah, we can do that. And then we can try it out on these databases. So next week is also going to be very practical, way more than this one. But yeah. So that's it. You guys have seen where you are. And then we are going to end this course on the 10th of March. So the dream is that by the 10th of March, everybody has a systematic review ongoing or a manuscript ready. But things can shift. I'm happy to shift the first 2 parts because I know that that's what is most important. Once you have a question, you know what to do. Every other thing, you can do it in one night. So I'm not worried about it, but building the question is the most important thing. So I'm going to stop sharing. You guys have this access already. Again, like I said, please don't share any of this material. These materials are meant for you. I spent a lot of hours to build it. So please don't share this material. And this course I'm giving you guys for free. In 1 year to come, I might not do it for free again. People will have to pay a lot of money for me to create time for it. So make the value, enjoy it while it lasts. And hopefully I will have energy to keep doing this, or some of you will take over to facilitate the course when you guys are done. But one of the recommendations is that you must publish your work, and then we work together to build the course that you can facilitate. So I'm going to end by pitching to you the services that we offer. So again, all of this is things I wrote before this lecture, but talking to you guys it doesn't stand for now because I need your feedback on when you guys are going to submit pack one, and then we're going to update this slide. Good. So we offer data collection services, proposal writing, data analysis, manuscripts, and all of that. We do all of this. So first of all, we can do this for everybody that comes to us. And when you are done with your training, you have a vetting process. If you can write well, we'll bring you in. If you want to do data analysis, we'll bring you in. So for everybody that comes to us to do data analysis, to collect their data proposal, if they're going to pay, I'm going to use a round number. So if they're going to pay 100,000 per se, you have a 10% from that money that is going to be paid. Now, if you are going to be the expert at XRA that is going to do it, you have a 30% of that money that is going to be paid. No, a 40% of that money that is going to be paid. And then that's it. And then those that are going to execute it, they have their own percentages. So that's how we do. The model is very open. So that means that if you do data analysis as a data analyst in SRA for somebody, you get paid 30% of the fee. So that's just it. And you who brought in the person, you get 10% of it for just bringing somebody in, nothing else. Yeah, you don't need any other thing. So that's it. So these are our social media handles. Please follow us. By the end of this month, we'll be putting your profiles on our website. Please, I'm sure that everybody has sent their HG pictures with me, but most of you guys just sent me things from your iPhones and the rest, which is not very good. But you guys should see how some of us present ourselves online, and you know that it's very important. So at the end of it all, I want you guys to know that a strong protocol will lead to a strong review, and we need to pre-specify everything so that it's very important. So what I need to know at the end of this week is what part of the systematic review protocol is unclear. Okay, so that it helps us as we are going to the next section, because the next sections we are just going to be doing things that will enable you carry out the systematic review. But if I know things that are unclear to you, then we can build it out. But that's it from my end. And thank you all for your kind attention. Any questions?
Thank you, Doctor, for your presentation. Thank you for the time too and the detailed explanation. Doctor, for the data analysis and writing services, please, I don't know, personally, I would like to know who are the people who make this type of services and where can we find them?
You don't understand. We are doing that now. SRA is doing it, so you can come to us if you need
Yes,
help.
Doctor, I understand. I mean, the people who need help, like, let's say, who wanted to link people up to you guys.
And so that's why
Not
that's why I share the flyer now. So just share it. You just need to throw your corn everywhere. You don't know which fowl is going to eat it now. So I mean, but the target market is mostly final year students in med school, nursing school, pharmacy school, science, who want to do research and they don't have time or they don't even know how to go about it. So those are the most people that we always help. And then you also have like very busy university lecturers who have projects that are running. Yeah, and then I mean in Cameroon we have a few institutions that do research, but not many of them. So that's it. It's a very niche market in the sense that it's a market for science. You get the point. So if there are very few
okay,
people
Doctor.
doing
That was my
science,
question.
if there are very few people doing science in Cameroon, then it's a very small market. You get, yeah. Any other question? All right. If there are no questions, then we are going to take our end of class selfie and then we will close. So please turn on your cameras. Hello, 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 hello. Where's Safai? All right. Where's Frank? Frank is at the center of the screen and his camera is not on. All right. So it was nice. Frank and Patrick are still off, but I mean, I know that they are there. But this is proof that they have left their computers or phones. All right. So we are taking a selfie in 3, 2, 1. Cheers. A second one. We are taking a selfie in 3, 2, 1. Cheers. All right, guys. Afai, what happened to your hand? All right, guys. Good night. And please, I need your feedback on the assignment, and then I'll see you guys next week. Stay safe. Don't get injured. And bye.